We are at Hatzor, or sometimes called Hatzor, in the far north of Israel. The most interesting archaeological site, which is very intact compared with other sites further south. Now this city is built on a tell, or a tell has been created as a consequence of generations of building on the site, and way beyond us there in that direction is the lower city, and we're in the upper city. The lower city was built earlier. The upper city is from the Solomonic period, or the United Monarchy, which is a period of David and Solomon. And after the death of Solomon, the kingdom split into two, and this was part of the northern kingdom, or Israel, in the days, for example, of Jeroboam and King Ahab, the notorious king. But he apparently was a great builder, and there's quite a lot of evidence of his building here. Now, we're in what's called the Solomonic Gate, which was the main entrance to the upper city. At the front, there were two square towers, the remains of which are here to at least 2 metres on the right and the left, and there would have been a big gate that swung in the middle for security to be opened and closed. And then quite a substantial roadway that comes in from that gate, which could have accommodated chariots and carts and drays and those kinds of things, as well as quite a substantial number of people. So this site at its height had 15,000 people, mainly living in the lower city. And you can see it's quite substantial. Now, just inside the gate, there were these chambers, 1, 2, 3 on this side, and on the other side, 3 more opposite. Now, these are very interesting because Solomon built these kind of chambers in a number of his cities, including Megiddo and Gaza. But the examples here are actually very complete and intact. Now, we know city gates were very important in Israel, and that kings sat on benches inside the chambers of the city gates and held court and made judgments and decisions were made. We know particularly about the story of Ruth and Boaz. Boaz went to the city gate and met with his other relative who had a claim on Ruth and Ruth's properties that she inherited from her late husband. And so important decisions occurred here. Now, many scholars believe that the earliest synagogue originated from the city gate and the sort of activities that happened here, which is one of the alternative views for the foundation of the earliest synagogues. Well, I've already spoken about King Ahab of the northern kingdom of Israel. And I said that he was a remarkable builder. And so I'm here overlooking one of his remarkable building achievements. And this is a water cistern which he constructed, and you can see that it's in excellent condition. I always think that everything underground in Israel is likely to be very genuine and very intact. Things like the great water construction tunnel, it's similar at Megiddo, and the Hezekiah's tunnel that you can walk through in Jerusalem, because armies over the centuries have destroyed everything on ground level, and it's been reconstructed and redestroyed and reconstructed over 2 to 10,000 years, depending on the site. But here we have what would have been underground for so long, a 40-metre deep tunnel system which enabled the inhabitants of this this town or city, it would have been the largest city in the Northern Kingdom at the time, to get water if there was a siege. Now, there was a siege. The Assyrians under Tiglath-Pileser came in 732 BC, the 8th century BCE, and they destroyed the city. But at least they could have withstood a smaller, less aggressive siege because they had water inside the city walls. Now we're going next to proceed to another one of King Ahab's building achievements. We're just pausing here on our way from the water system up to the citadel that Ahab built. We've mentioned Ahab the great builder. This is the ground floor of the citadel, or high point, or keep. It would be like a keep in an English castle. The last point for defenders to retreat to during a time of warfare once the city outer walls had been breached. Now we're just going to have a quick look across here at the stonework. You can see the mixture of large unhewn, completely unhewn rough field stones interspersed with small pebbles and other fragments of rock to make the wall. Now this is a very early type of wall construction. If we compare it, for example, with the 4th century limestone synagogue down at Capernaum, with its beautifully cut rectangular limestones, you can see how there's a difference between the type of early Israelite and early Byzantine stonework. Now, we're going to proceed on to look at some of the other installations from the early Israelite period, which was the divided kingdom, and we mentioned King Ahab. Now, our book, Justin and I, produced volume 1 of our series, Synagogue and Church, and the first volume is Synagogue's Heritage, and it deals with King Ahab and the division of the kingdom after the death of Solomon. For more information about this, a rather remarkable but strangely ungodly ruler. We're now up on the citadel, or highest point of Hatzor here, and you can see how much of a commanding view it had of the surrounding area. If you look in every direction, we're on the high point, and of course high points in Canaanite religion attracted cult centres. They built their temples and they built other cult activity centres on high points. And here we can see the whole of the low city, which is on this flat part of the Tel below us. We're on the high city and we're on the highest point of the high city.
Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed that video, please press the like button. Also, if you want to be kept up to date with all of our new content, please press the subscribe button. If you find this content interesting and you'd like to find out more, let me encourage you to come over to our website, which is synagogueandchurch.com, and over there you'll be able to find lots of information, and you'll also be able to find some of our books that are for sale there. In those books is loads and loads of more information on these and many other topics. Thanks for watching.